Okay, we got a new tool today. What this is a tungsten electrode grinder, and it's made to thread onto your rotary tool like a Dremel. And what you do with it is, once this is threaded onto the Dremel, you can stick your tungsten rods in here, and it sets the perfect angle so that you can get a perfect grind. And it'll do a 16th, 3/32 and 1/8 inch size rod, and it's got 15, 20, and 30 degree angles. But there's a slight problem with this, depending on the rotary tool that you put it in. So basically, as far as the tool is pretty simple and basic. Comes with a little grinding wheel. It actually comes with 5 different diamond coated blades or wheels, and it comes with 2 arbors. But there's a slight problem with this. I'm going to show you what it is. I'm going to show you 2 different fixes depending on what tool you have and which way you want to tackle this. So the problem is, so this multi-tool here, I'm getting ready to actually put a review out on it. This is a Hyper Tough. This is from Walmart. This is cordless. It's $32. This basically screws onto the nose. The problem is, let me go ahead and put this in here. Even with this all the way in, which hopefully you can see that that is all the way in there. Let me get a tungsten rod here. The tungsten rod, find the right hole here, is going underneath the disc. It needs to be on top of it. Well, you can unscrew this on this tool. You can unscrew this enough, because there's enough threaded area here to where, let me find my right size hole here, to where now you can get on top. So what I did for this tool is I just made a spacer. This spacer is 100 thousandths thick, and I put it on first, and then I screw this down till it snugs up, and that fixed the problem easy. That's an easy fix. Now, something else that you could do is this little barrel right here is pretty much threaded all the way down to the end of this. So if you was to shave off about 100 thousandths of one of these arbors, that would accomplish the same thing. So that's what we're going to do. I do have a Dremel here, and this will not work on the Dremel because the Dremel does not have as much thread stick out. So whenever I thread this on, and if I tried to keep it to where it needed to be, it's only being held on by maybe half a thread. I mean, it's about right there is where it needs to be, and there's just not enough thread holding it on. So the option that I would have for this would, I'd have to shave down the arbor itself. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do that. You could probably actually chuck up this arbor in here and use the very wheel that came with the kit to cut down the second arbor or mandrel that is in this kit. Now, if you do that, the only trick you're going to have is you're going to have to keep this straight, because if you get that off at an angle, and then when this is turning, that wheel is going to be flopping back and forth. So it needs to be pretty true. Would be the only problem with that. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do that on my sander and using this tool, and I'll show you what I mean. If I can get this out of here. Probably don't even need to really wrench that down. So now that I've got that on there, I can spin that. So let's go over here to the my sander. And I just eyeballed this. That does look to be about 100 thousandths, and it actually might be a little bit more. If you go a little bit more, you're fine. See if I can get the screw back in it. Might be another problem. Let me get a pick. Alright, got the screw back in it. So let's put another grinding disc on and see if it's going to run true. Get it started here. And I just want to make sure that it's running true. That's basically all we're doing right here. And that looks pretty true. So now, that should put us right where we need to be with this screwed all the way on without the spacer. Okay, I'm all the way down. Before I tighten that up, let's just see where we're looking. And there you go. Now we're on top. Which is where we need to be. So let me get this snugged up, and I'll show you how good this thing works and the way I use it. You can obviously twist this with your fingers, but what I usually do is I just chuck it up in a drill. See if I'm going to be able to show this. Now, let's make sure that it's going to work on the Dremel the same way, without the spacer. Now this should screw all the way down. And hopefully this will sink in far enough to where our tungsten All right, so you can see we're just barely, I mean, we're almost on the top. That is screwed all the way down. We would need to take just a little bit more off. You can see where that point is. So if we took maybe another 50 thousandths off, and there is enough material to do that, this would work. You can see how much more we still have. So let me do that. Let me, I want to take a little bit more off here. And we're going to make sure that we get the Dremel working also. Same deal, I'm just going to chuck it up in here. Take it over to the sander. Okay, that's all the way in. Now let's see how we're looking. That's 1/8 inch, 1/16. This one right here is our 3/32. Look at that. Perfect. So depending on what angle you wanted, you'd come in, you know, the appropriate hole. Do your grinding. So basically that's what you got to do. One of those two methods, either shorten the shank, the arbor, whatever you want to call it, to where this sets lower into your rotary tool, or in this case it was just easier and quicker for me to make a quick spacer. But now I probably don't even need that spacer even in this one. Anyway, let's go. You know what? Let me show you another grind. I've got one more tungsten I need to grind, so may as well do that here on camera. Let me get this put together. And again, I want to chuck it up in a drill. Hold on. Need to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Normally I have this set to all the way max speed, and it grinds it a lot quicker. But you can see how good of a job that does. I could actually put just a little bit more on that. Anyway, it works good. I'm happy with it for 22 bucks. As long as you've already got a multi-tool. If not, I recommend this little Hyper Tough Walmart unit. Like I said, I'm about to do a review on it because I'm very impressed with it. Also, cordless, so you don't have to drag out a cord. Anyway, yeah, this thing works okay as long as you more than likely mod your arbor or mandrel, whatever it's called. Anyway, we're done. You guys take care.